Hey guys, so today we have a fun video of an article about Sam Winchester was sent to me by a fan a few days ago. They want my response to it. So let's see what this article is about, or is the information in it, is if it's actually accurate, or what's going on there. It's called Supernatural, 20 Things Wrong with Sam Winchester We All Choose to Ignore. This is my Screenrant. So let's see what they actually mean by that title. So I'm gonna skip like the first intro of it. Alright, here. So it says, this list is about the things we have to ignore to enjoy Sam as a character on the show, whether they're standard plot holes or inconsistencies in his characterization. All of these entries are facets of Sam Winchester that just don't add up in light of the bigger picture. None of these make Sam a bad character, but they might make it a little bit harder to watch the show uncritically. Alright, so let's see what their list of 20 things pretty much inconsistent or things we choose to ignore about Sam Winchester, and see if I actually agree with them. Alright, at number 20 here, it says, he'd be happier if he wasn't a hunter. So let's see what they actually mean by that. Throughout 14 seasons of Supernatural, Sam has made it clear plenty of times that on some level he resents being forced into the life of a hunter. Dean seems to love it, but Sam wishes he could get away and lead a normal life. This isn't exactly specific to Supernatural, as pretty much every superhero seems to feel similarly about their own lives, but still makes us feel a little guilty watching him. I don't think so, because that's not all what Sam said throughout the 14 seasons. Sam changed his mind when he grew up, and he said he chooses the life he has right now. He does wish that him and Dean have a happy ending, but he doesn't think back to the college days anymore. He's not the same person anymore. He evolved, so that point is not actually accurate anymore. At first it was, not anymore. So let's see what else they say here. At this point we established that Sam would be happier if he never became a hunter. Not necessarily. You haven't seen Sam's life before if he didn't become a hunter. Even in the alternate universe thing in the Jen episode, what was it, season 2, season 3? What is and what should never be. One of my favorite episodes where the Jen gives Dean a fake life. Obviously it's not even real Sam in that dream thing. But Sam wasn't really happy not knowing Dean. They weren't talking, which really sucked. Yeah, he had Jess, he had like a lawyer life, whatever, but that wasn't real anyway, so you can't even depend on that. You can't count that. Alright, so they established that here in articles that it's clear that he would be happier if he never became a hunter. I disagree with that. Sam clearly stated in several occasions in the latest seasons that he's happy with what he's doing now, saving people, hunting things, a family business, and that gives him fulfillment in its own, I think. So that's not accurate. He would have gone to law school and lived a normal life, something that's actually been shown in alternate realities. Not exactly alternate realities, because this was a fake reality by the Jen, wasn't real. It's not accurate. Sam wants to get off the endless roller coasters that is Supernatural, and Dean still gets uncomfortable whenever he brings that up. Again, used to be in early seasons. Don't remember last time this ever happened. Sam wanting to get out of the life. He said he embraces the life now. I cannot think of a specific scene where I can draw this from, but somewhere in the recent seasons. Don't really rewatch the recent seasons because they're not as good as the old seasons. So can't really quote something specific in the recent seasons, but I'm sure I can find something later. So first point, I disagree with. I think it's false. Sam no longer feels like, oh, I'd be happier if I wasn't a hunter. Don't think so. Number 19, he keeps getting resurrected. We keep ignoring that? No, we don't. So the article's title doesn't really apply here. This is a common problem for pretty much every major character in Supernatural, of course, especially the core trio of Sam, Dean, and Castiel. These three boys have been through hell, literally multiple times, yes, during the series run, and that has meant that they have each bitten the bullet multiple times. All of them died. Sam's count rests somewhere around 7. It's hard to be exact because it's hard to tell which events count as him actually perishing. For instance, does his soul simply passing through hell count in and of itself? I agree, it's a bit vague there. Like when Sam went to the cage at the end of season 5, is that him dying? Kinda is, right? Or is it just him traveling to another dimension of hell? Not really clear, they never elaborate on that. But Sam has gotten resurrected every time, without fail, whether by an angel or some other force. Sam has perished and has been brought back so many times that fans have to wonder if the stakes of the show could ever be real. But again, you understand this article is about Sam, but you also made it clear it's everyone dies and comes back on Supernatural. So this point applies to literally everyone in the show, especially Sam, Dean, and Castile. So yeah, I wouldn't say fans choose to ignore based on the article's title. What is the title again? 20 things wrong with Sam Winchester we all choose to ignore. I mean, is that wrong with him dying and coming back? Not really, it's just how the show works with everyone, right? Alright, so moving on to the next point, point number 18, special children. The early storyline of Supernatural revolved around the show's first big villain, the demon with yellow eyes. He was soon revealed as Azazel, a prince of hell, and he had a plan to release Lucifer into the real world. The plan involved special children, whom he had force-fed his blood. It's a funny way to put it. Sam was one of these children, as Azazel's blood was responsible for his ability to gain demonic powers. While this plan seemed sinister at the time, Azazel's endgame Avengers again, endgame never had much logic to it. He planned for the special children to somehow be generals in Lucifer's war against God, but Lucifer never followed through on this idea, which isn't surprising given the fallen archangel's derisive view of humanity. Why would Azazel think this was a good plan? Well, this is kind of a good point. The whole special children thing didn't work, but weren't they all killed? I know some of them were killed. I mean, obviously Jake killed Sam at the end of season 2. And then, was Jake ever killed or ever found by Bobby? I don't think so, but some of them definitely got killed, some of the special children. Yeah, I don't really remember what happened to all the special children, but the girl died. Sam obviously died and came back. Yeah, kind of a good point. Whoever lived, obviously Lucifer couldn't convince Sam to join his army even if he wanted to. But yeah, Lucifer doesn't even like humans, so the article asks, why did Azazel think this was a good idea to begin with? Yeah, I guess I kind of agree with this point. This storyline didn't go anywhere. And don't really remember if they explained why Lucifer never did that, aside from the fact that he just hates humans, which should be self-explanatory, but yeah, I guess point kind of makes sense. Azazel doing that didn't really lead to anything, so yeah, I give him that. Point number 17, when he didn't sacrifice himself for Dean. Okay, before I even read about this, if you're talking about season 8 or season 9, I agree. I actually hated Sam for doing that, and we're gonna get into the point now and see if they actually mean what I think they mean. Much of the plot of Supernatural revolves around Winchester brothers protecting and saving one another. This may sound simple, but when you add in the fact that they have both been repeatedly bumped off and resurrected, and each has traded his soul for the other, it begins to look more like an endless carousel where they're always chasing each other. Except that as for the one time Sam didn't save Dean. He didn't even look for his brother when Dean was trapped in purgatory between the 7th and 8th season. I agree with that. Sam was horrible for doing that. And I think even Jerry talked in conventions about hating that storyline and kind of like ruining Sam's character in that instance. And Dean was somewhat justifiably upset about this. Justifiably, he was obviously very clearly justified to be upset about this. It's not somewhat. It's very clear. Sam explained that it's what he thought Dean would have wanted, since it's what he would want if the roles were reversed. He eventually apologizes. Takes forever. I think season 11 he apologizes for that. But he can't undo his decision. Yeah, I agree. That was a terrible character writing for Sam in season 8, and he even said he wouldn't die for Dean in season 9. Some of the ending of one of the episodes, he said that. I will never forget just 2 horrible things about Sam. Not looking for Dean when he went to purgatory, making stupid, lame excuses for it, like, oh, that's what you have wanted, me living my life, whatever. Like, that's terrible. You didn't even try to look for him. You didn't save him. Do you think he didn't want to be saved from purgatory? Oh, I think so, Sam. Such BS what happened. So that's why season 8 is one of my least favorite seasons. For other reasons too, it's about the angels, which was really boring to me, but that's a whole other story. Alright, so this point, I totally agree with Screenrant on this point. Sam not looking for Dean, not dying for him and all of that. Total BS. I agree with them. Number 16, his relationship with Ruby. One of the main criticisms of Supernatural throughout its run has been that it skews way too heavily towards male characters. I mean, I don't know who criticizes that. It's a great thing about the show. It's about the boys, so it has to be about male characters. Duh. That's really stupid if the article says that. To address this issue, producers brought 2 female characters to the main cast in the 3rd season, Bella Talbot and Ruby, the demon. The latter of these ended up having a relationship with Sam, which anyone with eyes could tell was a bad idea. Sure, yeah, it was a bad idea. Ruby was ultimately revealed to be manipulating Sam into aiding the rise of Lucifer. The show would continue experimenting with sympathetic demon characters, but Ruby's abrupt betrayal left fans wondering why Sam ever trusted her in the first place. Didn't really leave us wondering, because Sam explained to Dean when he told him the story that Ruby saved him from like a dark place he was in after Dean went to hell, so it was explained. It wasn't left us wondering or anything. That's not true. Sam is supposedly a smart guy, but he never suspected anything. Well, I'm sure he did. He was very skeptical at first, didn't want to trust her, but he was in an emotional place and she kind of capitalized on that, so it's not as simple as what this article makes it sound. Sam was vulnerable, emotionally vulnerable, and she capitalized on that. So yeah, at this point, disagree with it, doesn't make sense. It was clearly explained why Sam trusted her. And Dean was skeptical about it, and he kind of softened his stance about it a little bit when Sam explained the story. Alright, number 15. He ended Dean's daughter. I remember that. Well, this was justified, so I want to know what they say about that. She almost killed Dean. Her whole purpose of like being born is to kill her father, this whole Amazonian women thing, so already doesn't make sense. The length some shows will go to generate conflict is something to see. In the 7th season of Supernatural, Dean had an unexpected child after a one-night stand with an Amazon warrior. This child, Emma, was born and grew to maturity in a matter of days, and immediately tried to off her father to complete her initiation. There you go, you already admit why this made sense. Sam ended up putting Emma down when Dean hesitated and did not disintegrate. I always think of that joke every time. Alright, and the show moved on like nothing happened. Even if you can get past the absurdly contrived nature of the Amazons, they clearly only grow to maturity in days because they wanted Emma to attack Dean immediately. Yeah, of course, that's a TV show thing. Sam literally bumped off his own niece. Yeah, he did. You would think that might cause a little discomfort in future episodes, but you'd be wrong. Well, why would it? It's a one-off episode. And it's not like there's an emotional connection between Dean and his newborn daughter who grow up in like 2 days or whatever. So, yeah, not really. Don't agree with this point. She almost killed Dean. Sam was saving his brother from this random girl that came from one night stand and grew up to be an adult in like freaking 3 days. So, yeah, it made perfect sense that Sam killed her, and it made perfect sense that it was never brought up again because there was zero emotional connection between Dean and his newborn adult-ass girl. So, doesn't make any sense that they put this point on there. Number 14. Drinking demon blood. Imagine for a moment that you have never seen a single episode of Supernatural. You don't know anything about the monsters, demons, and brothers on the show. Even then, even in that state of complete innocence, you can probably still tell that drinking demon blood is a bad idea. I agree with that. Let's see what else to say. Yet Sam Winchester, an experienced hunter of demons, somehow missed that memo. He drinks demon blood for pretty much a whole season, was proddling from Ruby to give himself power over demons. Obviously doesn't go well, as Ruby was manipulating him from the beginning, something pretty much every fan could predict. Sam, who was going to get a law degree from Stanford, somehow didn't see that coming. I agree, Sam was kind of dumb for that, but you gotta give him his excuse was he was kind of addicted, kind of like a heroin addict, so he wasn't thinking straight, so it's not as straightforward as, oh, he's just not thinking straight that, oh, he couldn't predict that this is wrong. It's not like that. He was emotionally broken once again from what happened to Dean, dying, going to hell, him trying to save him, not being able to. Ruby caught him at a bad place, and she kind of saved him from like pretty much destroying his life and killing himself, whatever, thinking of doing at the time. And she kind of made him like have hope again and be strong by sucking on demon blood or whatever. And he was addicted to the actual substance which Azazel gave him as a child. So it wasn't straightforward as his brain not working right because, you know, he was in a bad place emotionally. But also physically he had addiction issue, which is not obviously easy to just like make go away, right? So this point is not fair, so I would say I disagree with that point. They ignored the fact that he was actually addicted to demon blood. Alright, moving on to number 13. His demonic powers. Alright, what about them? Once he's been drinking demon blood, which again, great idea, I know, Sam has access to a weirdly wide range of demonic powers. These included, but were not limited to, super strength, telekinesis, precognition, immunity to demon attacks, and the ability to exorcise and destroy demons. Basically, after he drank some infernal plasma, Sam had whatever ability he needed to defeat whatever demon was in front of him. He became a walking Deus Ex Machina, like a demonic superhero. Kinda true. It's funny actually. This was all contingent on him drinking blood though, and once he stopped, he no longer had any of these abilities. Was he ever really a special child? Yes, you kinda explained it how he was a special child because he actually had the precognition thing. He could see into the future, he had visions. In the early seasons, I think actually as early as season 2, when he was seeing things about the special children and stuff, before he started drinking demon blood in season 4. So actually, yeah, he was a special child way before he started drinking demon blood. So the article obviously doesn't remember that, whoever wrote that article. So yeah, this point is BS, doesn't make sense. Sam had special abilities like the precognition thing. There's another name for it, ability to see the future. I forgot the technical term for it, but Sam was able to see the future all the way back in season 2, if not season 1, I think season 2, way before he started drinking demon blood with Ruby's help in season 4. So again, this point doesn't make sense. Alright, moving on to number 12. His mom sacrificed him. One of the most ironclad parts of the backstory of the Winchester brothers is that their mother passed away when they were young. This explains much of their psychology and motivations for their actions. When she was resurrected, it turned out that Mary was a hunter who had made a deal with Azazel, the demon with yellow eyes. She did this to save her husband John from Azazel, trading Sam's life, allowing him to become a special child for John's. This was an intriguing twist in the later seasons of the show, but we have to wonder about Mary Winchester's thought process. Who would think that this deal would turn out well for anyone involved? John ended up losing his life to Azazel years later anyway. Well, this is kind of a good point. Mary was really stupid at the time, but again, she was in an emotional spot where John, love of her life, just died in front of her. And obviously, Yellow Eyes didn't make it clear what he's gonna do to Sam exactly. He just said, oh, you can have a baby in the future, whatever. I'm gonna enter your house and, I don't want you to interrupt me. I forgot his exact wording. I don't even know if he told her you're gonna have a kid at the time. He just said, I'm gonna enter your place and don't interrupt me. I'm not even sure if he told her she's gonna have a kid. So if he didn't tell her that, can't really blame her for not knowing what's gonna happen, because Yellow Eyes didn't tell her what's gonna happen. Just told her don't interrupt me then. And she still interrupted him anyway, by the way, and he killed her for it when it actually happened in the pilot. So kinda can blame Mary, sure, but you gotta understand her spot, her position at the time. She was in a tough spot, with John just getting killed by Yellow Eyes, who was pretty much extorting her, blackmailing her to bring him back, with her making a deal for him, to stop by her place many years later, and he doesn't want her to interrupt him. So did he actually tell her about the whole kid thing? She's gonna have a kid and all of that? I don't remember that part. I gotta go back and look at it. But if you guys watching this, let me know in the comments if he actually tells her what's gonna happen. I don't think he tells her what happens, or even if she's gonna have a kid to begin with. So can't really blame her if she doesn't know anything. But yeah, obviously she was not very smart about making a deal with a demon, but she kind of had to at the moment to save John. So can't understand where she's coming from. So this point I'm a bit conflicted on. I would say I disagree with that point in the article, that Mary didn't really know what's gonna happen. So can't really blame her for that. Obviously you blame her after the fact, but not before she actually knew what's gonna happen. Alright, moving on to number 11. This article is getting really long, so I'm gonna actually be splitting into 2 parts. So when I get to point number 10, this will be the first part. Second part will be in the remaining 10 points left, so really long. Alright, number 11. He started the apocalypse, which is, I really agree with this point. Yeah, he didn't know, but he trusted Ruby. I get this whole thing. We can't deny it. Sam Winchester is partially responsible for the rise of Lucifer. He shares his culpability with his brother Dean and a troop of demons loyal to their creator. And it was Sam who broke the final seal, and Dean broke the first seal in hell by torturing an innocent soul. So yeah, good point. Both of them are responsible. Sam is the last one to be responsible. but it was Sam who broke the final seal and freed Lucifer once and for all. True, Dean may have broken the first of the seals holding Lucifer's cage together, but he knew enough to not break the last one. The final seal was Lilith, the first demon and the main antagonist of the 4th season, and Sam was manipulated into destroying her by Ruby. Remember, Sam is supposedly the smart Winchester, but he wasn't smart enough to not start the apocalypse. Yeah, I get it. Obviously he didn't know. He wasn't smart enough to not trust Ruby. Dean tried to talk him out of it obviously many times, and they had a lot of conflicts. Sam even beat Dean down for Ruby, Dean didn't want to trust Ruby, and they had a fight, and Sam beat the hell out of Dean for it. So obviously Sam was horrible in that season, but he was also addicted to demon blood. Not giving him an excuse, actually didn't like Sam that season. Same way Dean didn't like him that season, but as far as this point, I would give this point to the article writers that Sam did start the apocalypse by breaking the last seal. Obviously he had no idea, but doesn't change the fact that he did it anyway. Intention matters, but actions matter, I would argue, even more. So if your intention was good, but you did something bad, I understand why you cannot blame the person for not knowing, for having good intention, but the action still has negative consequences. In this case, a freaking apocalypse. Rising of Lucifer and the apocalypse eventually, but yeah, I mean, Dean and Cass did similar things in later seasons, but this article is about Sam, so to focusing on Sam, I give him that point that Sam was irresponsible in that season, didn't listen to his brother Dean, trusted a demon over his own brother, so I would say this is his fault, even if he didn't know this was the final seal, because he shouldn't have trusted Ruby to begin with, even though he had his reasons, excuses, whatever you want to call it, but yeah, so I give him that point. So, in the first 10 points of the article, I did give him a few points. I disagreed with, I would say, the majority of them. So this would be part 1 of this article, guys, of that video, my response to it. Because it's really long, I'm actually going to just split it into 2 parts, take a break after this, edit this part, upload it, and then I'm going to work on the second part later. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Look forward to part 2 of this video, tackling the remaining 10 points, looking at 20 things wrong with Sam Winchester we all choose to ignore. Don't think any of us ignores any of that. So we have 10 more points left in the article, so this will be in part 2 next time. So anyway, let me know what your thoughts down below in the comments. Do you agree with the points in the article and the points I did not agree with in the article? Let me know down below in the comments. Subscribe for more awesome Supernatural content. Till next time, as always, no chick flick moments.
Awesome. That's awesome.
You're awesome.